You're listening to the Sweet Life Entrepreneur Podcast. Simplified strategies to grow your service business and launch a life you love faster. With business mentor and entrepreneur activator, April Beach.
Okay, all right, let's do it. Let's jam it out. Okay, and then did you fill out, do I have a bio to read for you when I come back and record this? Did you fill out any of our stuff?
I don't know.
Okay, you probably didn't. Okay, so let me go ahead
I know you sent an email, but I honestly don't.
No worries. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm going to shoot it to you in an email right now.
Okay, and I can shoot you my bio. Like, my bio is literally...
Okay, I'm just going to fill this. Yeah, you don't have to fill the whole damn thing out. Just shoot me your bio. Make sure I have the links so that I can put the links to where everybody can find you in the show notes and making sure that this is really beneficial for you as well. And then I'll come back and I'll pre-record the intro and the outros and everything later.
Perfect.
All right. So what's your last name, Jen? It's Jen's Trends.
It's Herman, Herman.
Oh, good. I love it. Okay. All right, let's do it. All right, Sweet Life listeners, thank you so much for tuning into the show. You are not going to want to miss this one. Actually, you're not going to want to miss these two because Jen Herman is in the house twice with us. Make sure you click subscribe and you are getting all of the goods. And we're talking everything Instagram that you need to know about. Everything Instagram that's pertinent to actually building a profitable business designed around your life and your family and the purpose-driven work that you want to do. We are not talking about how to get millions of followers and nobody actually knows who the heck that you are. And so I am so excited to have Jen in the house. Jen, will you please introduce yourself so everybody knows who you are? And then we're going to dive right into part one of this two-part podcast episodes.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited. I am so glad you invited me to be on this show. I think this is going to be a really fun 2 episodes for the audience. So I am Jen Herman. It's Jen with 2 N's. I was born in 1980 with about a bazillion other Jennifers. So I've always been 2N Jen. So you can find me everywhere as Jen's Trends. On Instagram, I'm JENNS_trends, jenstrends.com, all that sort of stuff. But I am the world's forefront blogger on Instagram marketing. I fell into this role, you guys. Like, I literally didn't wake up one day and say, I want to be an Instagram expert. I had started a blog. It was fun. It was a hobby. There was no business adventure to it. It was just an entertainment value for me. And in the process, I fell in love with Instagram. And in doing that, started blogging about it. And in doing that, started being the only person who was actually strategically blogging about it and got invited on podcasts and got invited to speak at conferences. And that was, going on 6 years ago now, that I've now evolved and I've written Instagram for Business for Dummies. I'm currently writing Instagram for Dummies. So it's evolved into this, but I know where you're coming from because I started in your shoes. I'm the service-based business. I don't have a product to sell. I don't sell courses and that sort of thing. I'm a consultant and a coach type person. I do speaking gigs, and I built this from nothing and had to go through all the hoops and hooplas that you guys are going through. And I built that on the back of Instagram. So I'm excited to share some of these things with you guys and really help you understand how to use Instagram as a powerful tool for your business too.
Yeah, and you guys have to say, if you see behind the scenes of this, Jen is sitting here and she has this great Jen's Trends on the wall. So you have to click on the show notes. So you can get behind the scenes. And then she has her kids coloring table. This is my life right here. I mean, my kids
this is life.
That was my life. I love, she has her kids' books and reading books and coloring tables.
And crayons.
And crayons. So she's totally my kind of girl. I love her already. We have the same life. As many of you guys listening do too. Okay, so in this first part, we're diving into how to grow your Instagram followers and setting up your profile. So where do you want to start with this? Because these are 2 really important things that just people don't understand. They don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the Instagram profile because you guys, legit, the Instagram profile is the foundation of your account. People have to go there to follow you. If people find you, this is where they end up. So if your profile sucks, you're not going to get followers. So we can't grow your followers until you have your profile formatted the right way. So there are 5 specific areas that I want you to focus on when it comes to your profile. The first is going to be the name and the username. And the reason why these 2 fields are so important is that they are the only searchable criteria on Instagram. So if someone is looking for a life coach, they'd better say life coach in the name or the username, because you can say life coach 386 times in your content and your profile bio and all the other places, and it means nothing in terms of search when someone's looking for your individual service. So make sure that the keyword of what you want is in the name of the username. And the name and username should be different. So my username is @JENNS_trends. It's my brand name. That's how I'm known online and where people can find me. The name on my account is Jen Herman, Instagram expert. So if people are looking for Jen Herman, they're going to find me. If they're looking for Jen's Trends, my brand, they're going to find me. And if they're looking for an Instagram expert, they're going to find me in search. I will change that that name occasionally. If I'm doing conferences, I can put, Social Media Marketing World 19. So I would put SMMW 19 in the username in the name. And that way, if someone was looking for that specific phrase for that specific conference, they would find me in search.
Wow.
So there's lots of different ways that you want to use those two criteria for maximum search results.
Wow, I had no idea. Okay. All right. Number 2, and you, by the way, all you know that I'm going to go off this podcast, like I take a ton of notes, and the first thing I'm doing is changing my dang Instagram bio. Okay. All right. Number 2. What is number 2?
So number 2 is going to be your profile photo. Number 2 is not as important as the name and username, but because they're so limited in search with the name and username, your profile photo has to be recognizable. If you use one profile photo across all of your social media, you're immediately recognizable to people trying to find you in search. So if you have the same photo on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on LinkedIn, the moment they see that, if they've known you on LinkedIn, they will immediately recognize that it's you, and they are going to immediately click on it and know that it's you and trust you and follow you. If you have a different profile photo, then they're like, is that really them? Is that her? I don't know. Should I click? Like, is it a different one? So you want to make sure that that profile photo is recognizable. Additionally, it is a really, really small, like 1/4 inch diameter circle that gets referenced in all of the content. Like when you comment on something, or you leave a like and you show up in the notifications and that sort of thing, it's a really, really small circle that is your profile photo. So if you have text in there, that text is illegible. If you have a very busy photo, it's going to be hard to decipher what it is. And sometimes what looks like a really good photo on a full screen computer can look like a completely different image when it's shrunk down to a very small photo. So make sure that your photo is clear and concise. Simple backgrounds are good. A single person is best. If you have if you have 10 people on your team, don't take a photo of all 10 of you and use that as your profile photo, because we won't be able to see the faces. If you have your logo, that's okay too. But if your brand is you, it should be your photo.
Gotcha. Okay. And number 3.
Number 3 is going to be the bio itself, the actual information that tells people who you are, what you do, and what's in it for them. The bio is your 30-second elevator pitch, and it needs to be written in the context of the person that you are trying to attract. The only time people really ever read your bio is the first time they come to your profile. So they may come back to your profile multiple times to click on the link or to see content, but all those future visits are unlikely to actually look at your bio description. So we want that description to be targeted to first-time visitors. And it's 150 characters. It's not a lot of space, but it needs to be designed for them. What's in it for them? Who are you? What do you do? And why should they care? Why should they follow you? What do they get out of this? Are they getting coupon codes? Are they getting motivation and inspiration? Are they getting education? What are they getting by choosing to follow you? There's a lot of great examples out there. Mine, I think, is decent. I don't always love my own, but mine is a good one to go look at. Because you can see in the very first line, I have that I'm the world's forefront blogger on Instagram marketing. I'm a speaker. I'm a consultant. If someone comes to that profile, they know exactly who I am. But then I also talk about the fact that I'm a mom to a mini fashionista, that I hashtag, wear high heels every day. And I talk a bit about my personality, but I'm giving people an example into who I am. It's a personal, emotional connection, which as a solopreneur, a coach, that kind of environment, we want to create that emotional connection with our audience.
Yeah. Okay. And I do see a lot of people doing that where they'll be like, okay, speaker, author, like praying hand moms of 3 or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, okay, I connect with her in a business stance. Oh, okay. And she has 3 kids also. Yeah. Sounds like somebody that I would want to follow.
And that's the thing, bullet points, use emojis, keep it short and sweet because you want to get as much as you can into that 150 characters. Don't write some big, giant, long run-on paragraph that isn't easy to read. So those bullet points from where you include the emojis and that sort of thing are really good places to get started.
Yeah, so I have seen that. So you actually prefer that kind of stacked bullet point list over a written paragraph. Awesome. Okay, and then number 4 for the profile.
So number 4 is going to be the URL. There is only one clickable link on Instagram, and that is the URL that is on your profile. And that's where you're going to drive everybody to. You're going to say, click on the link in my bio, click on the link in my bio, and that's that link. So the key is to make sure that link is actually working for you. You do not want it to go to your website homepage. Sending them to your homepage is like sending somebody into a department store and saying, I want what's on the mannequin, go figure it out on your own.
Right.
And you have to like run amok through a department store to find all the different pieces that are on that mannequin. Nobody wants that. We want to see the mannequin and say, I want all of those pieces, give them to me right here next to the mannequin. So the that link needs to be the same function. If you're telling people to go read your blog post, that link needs to go to your blog page. If you're sending people to your e-commerce, have that link go to the e-commerce page. An alternative that you can do, and this is something I've set up on my profile as well, there's things like Linktree and things like that that allow you to put multiple, quote, links into a single link. I have actually done something different where I created a landing page on my website that emulates the Linktree environment. So when you click on that link, it's jenstrends.com/Instagram-links. It's a landing page on my website that has 5 options. There's no headers and footers and sidebars and pop-ups and things to distract you. There's 5 options. 1 is for my blog posts. 1 is for my Instagram intensive training. 1 is for my membership program. 1 is to hire me to work with me. It's very simple. So if I'm saying go click on the link in my bio, they navigate to that page and then they can go, okay, we wanted the blog post. They click on that. They're immediately on the blog post page and they can read those. Why this is so important, you guys, is that way you own the traffic. If you use something like Linktree, you don't own that traffic. You don't know where they came from and where they go once they get on your actual page or on your website. Versus if you've done this with a landing page, now you have control and your Google Analytics will tell you where people are navigating so you know how much traffic is coming from Instagram and how they're interacting. Are they dropping off, staying on? Are they converting? And then you can use that target or that audience to retarget with Facebook and Instagram ads. So yay!
Yeah, and all I can think of is Facebook Pixel. This is so smart. Yes. Make sure you're getting there. Okay. That is the first thing. Now, second thing. And there's so much to talk about, but I want to make sure we get into it all, so I'm just going to keep moving right along. What about growing your followers? Let's talk about what you and I talked about before we hit record on numbers versus authentic relationships.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, first of all? So we're real clear. Everybody knows we're growing followers, but...
Yes, but the right followers. And I am the world's biggest opponent to buying followers. I don't believe you need tens of thousands of followers. The first thing I always tell clients when they come to me and say, I want 10,000 followers, I want 50,000 followers, whatever their idealistic number is, I ask them why. And then when they tell me why, I go, okay, how many clients do you have? If you have 42 clients, why on earth would you have 10,000 followers?
Right.
That is the most irrational, disproportionate following group ever because you can't manage 10,000 customers if you had them.
Yeah.
So it's unrealistic to expect that you would have 5,000 or 10,000 if you literally only have a handful of clients. You have to keep that in proportion. Now, obviously, you want to grow. You want to get more followers. I get that. We all want to get more followers. But you have to make sure you're getting the right followers. And, we're going to dive into a bunch of those strategies, but making sure that you know who that target audience is, because when you're crafting your content, and we're going to talk content strategies in the second episode, we want to make sure you're crafting content for that target audience, because if you're creating all this audience and appealing to business professional women in their 40s who are on the peak of their career, but really you're over here helping women in 25 years old who are fresh out of college, your content is completely misaligned. You're not going to grow the right audience. And then when they want to work with you, you can't help them. So it's about growing your audience the right way.
Okay, and so how do we go about doing that? So how does somebody say, I want more people to recognize my account? I want to get my account in front of more of the right people. What are your recommendations to do that?
So one of the first things you're going to do is you need to, like I said, define your target audience, and you're going to create the content that appeals to that audience. And you're going to craft content on a easy to manage schedule. Less is more. We don't want more content. You don't have to post every single day. You could post once a week, and I'm happy with that. You just want to be creating consistent content that appeals to that audience, that it solves their problems, that it offers them value. It's not about you, because if you're talking about you and how awesome you are, ain't nobody gonna care. So you got to put it in the context of your audience, so when people do find you, they care enough to want to follow you, and they want to do that. But again, if you're creating quality content, your existing audience will share it for you. They will tag people in the comments. They will share it to their stories. So if you're creating an educational piece that is, tips for surviving the holidays as a single mom, great. Guess what I'm going to share as a single mom going through the chaos of the holidays?
Right.
I'm going to share your article, and then I'm going to put it on my Instagram stories, or I'm going to tag my friends in that post. So just creating good content is going to already give you a leg up, because your audience will start to do the work for you. But it has to be content that's valuable to them and that they actually want to share. So that's probably the first key step.
Okay.
So the next thing you want to do is it's going to be a very specific hashtag strategy. And now we can't talk Instagram and not talk hashtags. Yeah. So I'm going to give you guys my super secret recipe that I tell everybody. If I could hang it on a billboard, I would. But here's the thing. Hashtags absolutely work if you do them properly. And the problem is so many people just kind of wing it, and they just throw up a whole bunch of hashtags and wonder why they don't work. So there are 3 specific areas of hashtags you want to focus on. There's popular, moderately popular, and niche specific. Popular hashtags are going to be anything in about the 500,000 to 1 million posts per hashtag result. So if you went and looked at hashtag coaching, you're going to see like a bazillion posts associated with it. Using hashtag coaching, not going to work for you, because nobody's looking for hashtag coaching except other coaches.
Yeah.
So you're not attracting your ideal audience, and all you're doing is attracting spam bots because it's so popular. So anything over 1 million starts to get you into dangerous territory of just attracting spam bots. Your content doesn't stay in that hashtag hub long enough for it to be valuable to you. So only about 500,000 to 1 million for your popular. Moderately popular are going to be those high tens of thousands into that 500,000 mark. And then niche specific are going to be those ones in the low thousands up into the tens of thousands that are very targeted to the solution you provide. And what I'm saying here is you really need to figure out what your audience wants. I always use the example of car insurance. Nobody gives a crap about car insurance on Instagram. I'm not going to Instagram to look for car insurance. That's what Google is for, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I'm looking for on Instagram? Hashtag new car, hashtag dream car, hashtag fave car. And you know what people with favorite cars need? They need car insurance. But if I tag car insurance, I'm only going to attract other car insurance brokers. So you need to figure out what your audience is actually doing on Instagram and then create your hashtag strategy around that. You want to have 3 to 5 hashtags in each of those 3 categories, the popular, moderately popular, and niche specific. Why this works is that when you post something on Instagram, your existing audience already interacts with the content. They see it, they like it, they comment on it, they're already doing it for you. Hashtags get your exposure to non-followers, to new people who are searching those hashtag hubs. The popular ones give you an initial burst of activity. Boom. You've got 5, 10, 20, 30 likes, depending on how popular it is. out of the gate. Within seconds, you're going to get a burst. But you're going to die off with those hashtags in a matter of maybe minutes if you're lucky to stay active for minutes. The moderately popular are going to keep you active for hours into days because they're not as popular, so your content could stay in that hashtag hub for at least a day, maybe more. Then what happens is then the niche specific, the actual solution you provide for your audience, you are now looking as being a top performing post because Instagram says, well, your audience liked it. Your non-followers that saw your content liked it, and it stayed active for more than a short period of time. So it's a high-performing post, and you will rank as a top post in the niche-specific ones, which means those ones don't matter. You could do that. You could be a top post with 100 likes or 10,000 likes. It doesn't matter. It's a ratio of performance compared to followers and non-followers, but top-performing posts can stay in that position for months. And so if you're a top performing post and somebody goes over to Instagram and looks for that hashtag and they see your content and they click on it and now they're on your profile, now they're clicking that call button or the email button. Now they're following you. They're wanting to work with you. This is how you actually get legitimate conversions and followers from using hashtags.
That's fascinating. And I mean, we've gone around and around with hashtag strategy for a really long time. And this is so clear, definitely clearer than we have been doing in the past. So I'm super excited to learn that strategy. Let me ask you a question. Where do people go to research hashtags? I know there's like Hashtagify Me and there's all these different places. Is there some place that you recommend if somebody's like, I have absolutely no idea what hashtag my people, say somebody is looking for, I want to become a speaker. So somebody says, I want to become a speaker. And so are they searching hashtag speaking coach, or where would a speaking coach then go to find where her people who want to be a speaker are looking?
So my best advice is always just to go to Instagram search. You can use Hashtagify, you can use Tagboard, you can use other tools out there, but those aren't just for Instagram, and they aren't pulling in all of the data. Instagram has the Instagram data. So just go to Instagram. Go to the search icon, which is the little magnifying glass, start typing in a hashtag, and the great thing about it is it will show you all other related hashtags. So if you just start typing in hashtag speaker, it will show you speaker life, speaker lifestyle, speaker dreams, and it will show you all the things that are related and tell you how many posts are associated with each of those. Then if you click on any one of those, so if you chose to click on hashtag speaker life, it's going to show you all the content in there, but at the very top, it's also going to show you other related hashtags that maybe don't have the word speaker in it. And then you tap on that one, and then you see all the related ones for that one, and then you see all the related ones for that one, and you can go down a rabbit hole for hours. It's kind of crazy. But it's a good way to see what other people are doing that are related to those hashtags. And also go look at your competition. Go see what other people that are potentially speaker coaches are doing, what hashtags are they using, and go check out those hashtag hubs and see what kind of content is being put in those. And then you can use some of those ones as well.
Okay, and then another question. I know in the next episode we're going to dive into content, and I'm really interested in diving into some of the different ways to share content through Instagram. So you guys make sure you're staying tuned to that. One more question in addition to anything you might have to add. What about spending time connecting with people that are following those the people that are your competition? Is that a good use of time, whether yourself? I know I've heard of people who outsource comments, not through bots, like actual comments, but they're actually really making comments to the people they believe that are their ICA. Is that a good strategy? Is that, old school? What do you think? Is that important?
I mean, it can work, but it's incredibly time consuming. My shorter, easier version of that is to find the hashtags where your audience is hanging out. So know who your target audience is, know what hashtags they are using or creating content around. So for example, if there are conventions in your industry where people are going to those conferences and conventions, and that the people as attendees there, if that's your target audience, go look at that hashtag for that conference. I do this all the time for social media conferences, even if I'm not speaking. And what you do is you go in, look at that hashtag, and scroll, double tap. Just rapidly scroll through and double tap to like all of the content on that conference hashtag. When I do this, again, even if I'm not at a conference, I will go through, and the smaller conferences, maybe there's not a ton of posts, maybe there's a couple hundred at most. Bigger conferences, there may be thousands. but you scroll through, what happens is you show up in their notifications. You don't have to take time to leave comments. You can if you want to, but you're not leaving comments. You're not sending DMs. You're just simply liking their content. But if they posted 3 photos and you liked all 3 of their photos and you showed up in their notifications, they're looking at it like, and if they're a smaller account, they're like, who's this, person who just showed up in my notifications liking all my content? They're going to recognize that you're somebody new. They're going to click on your profile, and you've already formatted this beautiful profile and bio. Boom, they go, hey, this person's doing exactly what I want to do and what I want to learn and somebody I might want to work with. Boom, follow, done. I do this per conference. I get anywhere from maybe a couple dozen up to hundreds of new likes off of every conference where I use this strategy. And it's not time consuming where I have to find an individual person and send them a comment or send them a DM. That can work, but like you said, that's almost something you have to outsource, and then that takes away all the personalization of it, and it's very difficult to manage. So that it can work, but that's a very deep dive strategy that's almost not worth the return on investment most of the time.
Okay, and then I do have one more comment to make before we go out of this, because this is going to be something you're going to say, oh my gosh, April, nobody's ever going to follow you, or or people are going to hate you. So, and this happens all the time, and I'm just pissed. I'm so over it. So with people with bots that are commenting on my stuff, nothing pisses me off more than that. And so I did have a woman who has just tons of Instagram followers. I mean, a lot more than I do. She has 15 or 17,000 Instagram followers. And she commented on one of my IGTV videos, and it was clearly just a bot comment, had nothing to do. And I commented, I'm like, you need to block me. You need to stop following me. I do not want you commenting on my shit. This is it doesn't pertain at all to what I'm talking about here. This is completely irrelevant. And if you aren't going to give a thoughtful comment on this, or at least hire somebody to give a thoughtful comment on this post that's relevant to the material I'm putting up, and I was in big shouty capitals, I'm like, stop commenting on my stuff. And I mean, am I gonna how many people? It just blows my mind when you look at people's accounts. And I heard that Instagram is getting rid of the likes counts, which I'm interested to hear more about that too. But when you look at actually somebody's followers, which we'll probably always be able to see, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, this woman has thousands and thousands of followers, and she's totally not tapping into building any relationships whatsoever. Yeah. I could care less. I could give a shit who she is. I don't want to have a relationship with her, business or otherwise. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm mad. I'm mean when bots comment on my stuff.
It's the most frustrating thing, especially when you're trying to do things the right way and you're trying to build relationships and you're trying to connect with somebody. And all you end up getting is, like you said, automated responses and obviously irrelevant comments. The worst is when people are like, great photo, what a great blah, 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 blah. And you're like, I posted a photo of my dog dying.
Right. This
is not something for you to comment on. And those are the worst in so many ways. And, eventually, will they go away? Probably not, but they'll get better. They'll slow down. Instagram's doing things to control those things. They've put automated resources on the background. So with AI, artificial intelligence, that actually now troll through all of the interactions. And if they can see that content is being placed by a bot, your account. So if you put a bot comment on mine, my account's not in jeopardy, but your account that's using the bot is actually in jeopardy of temporary punishments up to, 24 hours to a week where you can't post or you can't or do things, and moving upwards of being shut down altogether. And we're seeing this happen more and more and more. Technically, there was already a precedent set in the state of New York where the companies that were selling the follow-unfollow and selling likes were actually found guilty of fraud and were forced to shut down because they're creating fraudulent advertisement that you allegedly have 100,000 followers, but really you don't, and it was considered fraud. So we're seeing this shift where these things will become more minimal. But for right now, yes, it's still something we have to deal with, and don't be that person because you are going to put your accounts at risk if you use these tools.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Okay, well, let's wrap up part 1. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to dive into part 2. And those of you guys that are just joining us and you have not been a Sweet Life listener, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss what we're talking about next.